Do you have one of these that won't lock? Let me show you how to fix it. So today I want to show you how to do a mortise lock replacement. It's relatively simple, and how to use a shim on the locking side of the strike to help this lock a lot easier for you. Let me show you how to do it. Let's get started. So first we're going to go ahead and get started by removing the handle. Okay, next we're going to go ahead and remove the mortise lock box. Be prepared to put something in the hole after you take it out. There is a plastic insert in here. If you take this box out, it can fall down. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, the box is ready to come out. So we can take our screwdriver to help assist this out. And as you're pulling this out, put it through the hole there so this piece doesn't slide down. Let me show you. Okay, this is the piece I was telling you that can slide down. So just make sure you have something in there. And when we take the new lock box, we'll put it in here and then we'll pull the screwdriver out. Since I need my screwdriver back, I'm going to go ahead and put a screw in here a little bit so I can take that out so it doesn't fall. Because I want to show you one of the little quirks about this lock box. Sometimes just by lubing them up, it works really good. But in order for it to operate, you're supposed to push in this little safety tab here. Let me show you this little part in here. Please forgive the noise. I am on an active job site. So these two little tumblers in here, sometimes I notice through my years of dealing with these is that they can go a little lopsided. This box feels good, but one of our previous technicians came out here and he thought he saw something wrong with it. So we're gonna go ahead and replace it. I just wanted you to show you this. And you can install these the other way, but then the thumb turn is gonna lock the opposite way. But okay, so we're gonna take our new lock box, and before we install it in the door, we're gonna go ahead and try the operation of it just by pressing in the little safety tab here. And we're gonna check these. Feels really good, so we're gonna go ahead and install it in the door. So I'll put my screwdriver back in here, and I'll take this screw out, and then we'll install the box. So since this door operates this way, when you go to lock the door, you want the thumb turn to go this way. So you want to make sure that's the orientation. If you turn the box this way and you go to lock the door, it's going to be this way, and that's the wrong way. So if you put it this way, so when you close the door, it goes towards the lock side. If the door slid this way, then you would put it in the door this way. So when you close the door, it would lock that way. I hope that makes sense to you. So let's go ahead and get this installed. We'll go ahead and get our screws in. Okay, so we're going to check the lock since we have it installed in the door. So it does that. And before we install the handle set, I want to show you something that may need to be done. Sometimes the holes on this door, this part is drilled out in one part of the factory, and this part is drilled out in a different part of the factory. And sometimes when they marry these two parts together, the holes don't line up perfectly. So don't be afraid if you ever have to take a file or a rasp bit and make these a little bigger than what you need. And let me show you, give you a little close-up. Okay, as you can see here, this hole is not perfectly round. My previous partner came out here and drilled this out or ground this out a little bit on that hole and this hole. And sometimes you have to do it on this one too. But it sometimes just takes a little bit, and then that way when you put the handle on, everything lines up perfectly. So don't be afraid if you ever have to do that. This door has our optional key cylinder. So when you put the key cylinder on, you need to make sure that this lock is in the unlocked position, because you can't lock a lock that's already been locked twice. So say if it was on all the way this way and you're able to get it on, of course you put on the door stock locks. So since the lock goes this way and the door is unlocked, we need to make sure that actuator pin is as far over as it goes, and then we'll go ahead and put that in. All right, so some people ask me, why is the door this way when it's locked on some doors and some of it are this way when it on other doors? Well, if you look on the back side here, there's a little star. Hopefully that's focusing for you. So you can actually put it in any position you want, but typically everything with Marvin, lock is always down on like the windows, and locked on doors is always this way. So when you lock the door, it needs to be this way. I'm hoping you can see this. So now that I got these two married up, now since those holes are a little bigger, see how we can do this with the handles? Now what we can do is when we put our screws in, and we'll just get them started. Now that we got our screws started, we still have a little room. Now what you can do is press the little safety tab and find the sweet spot. So sometimes you can move one up or down and find the best spot. And once you find the right spot, go ahead and tighten this handle down. And then that will lock it into place. I thought of one more thing I can show you. Sometimes on this tail piece or actuator pin, sometimes these can be a little long. And see how there's like little marks? Those are marks where you can take and actually break these off. I have seen in the field where this is too long. So when you go to install your handle set, if this is too long, it's going to push back on the thumb turn. So if you tighten the screws and you go to turn this and it's really hard, chances are it could also be this tail piece is too long. So in this case, we can see that our tail piece is not too long, because when I push them together real tight, I still feel a lot of movement, so we're good there. I'd like to show you another adjustment on these. These hooks are actually adjustable to go out or in, and by simply turning this screw here, if you watch, you'll see the hook go out, or if you go this way, it'll bring it tighter. So when you lock it, it makes the door harder to lock, say if you want really good compression on your weather stripping. So typically I'll go ahead and adjust these all the way out for the easiest locking. Okay, do not adjust these all the way to where the screw is stiff when you adjust these out, because it'll bind the lock in there. So just back it off maybe a half a turn or full turn after you adjust it all the way out, and then try the lock again. It should feel smooth. If it feels like it's bound up, turn that screw back in, but it should always be smooth, just like that. So another thing I like to do to make the door a little easier to lock, or say if you had a door that had a ballooning or reverse hourglass shape to it, this sometimes cannot push in that little safety tab that's on the lock. So you'll have to shim this out. Sometimes you can use little washers behind there, or you could take, one of our guys came up with some of this plexiglass and cut them into a whole bunch of strips, because we run into this kind of, quite frequently. So it's cut the same width as this keeper, and we're going to go ahead and put it behind the keeper just to shim it out just that little bit to get this to lock really good. Let me show you how. So obviously first we'll go ahead and remove the screws. Okay, so what I like to do is go ahead and put one screw at the bottom, and since this is cut, it'll fit between the top and bottom screws. That way you can just place that behind there. We'll pre-drill through the plexiglass there and put in our remaining screws. So before we go ahead and put in these 2 screws, I want to check the height of this strike. So you can see these holes are slotted, so you can adjust this up or down. So we've already checked our door to make sure that the wheels are adjusted so everything is straight. If you don't know how to do that, please watch my video on how to adjust a sliding door for proper operation. So let me show you what I'm talking about here. Okay, this may be a little difficult for you to see, but if you press the little safety tab in down here and lock the door, see these hooks that came out? Well, if you gently close the door, you can check the height of the hook that goes into there, and then do the same thing down here to make sure those look like they're lined up. It'll be obvious if this is too far up or too far down. So this looks like the hooks are going to grab it real good, so we'll go ahead and put the remaining screws in. Now let's try the lock. Works great. I hope this video helped you out and taught you how to change out one of our mortise lock box on our Integrity sliding French door. If this video helped you out, please help me out by hitting the subscribe button at the bottom, and that helps me out. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.